Good evening, everybody, and welcome to my MTV review, or my review of MTV Scream. I apologize there. My review of the MTV Scream show. Just wrapped up episode 6 of season 2, entitled Jeepers Creepers. Seems like each episode here for this season entitled From a Horror Flick of the Past. This one, I believe, was in 1990, in the 90s, 1996, I believe, 97. During my era, the 90s, best era ever. But then again, that's generational. But I'll throw that in. 90s, best era ever. But like I said, if you are a fan of my other podcasts, Steve's Wrestling Ramble, Talking WWE with Jay, that I co-host as well. I also co-host Main Event Marks, and I host Talking Packers with Steve. Obviously, this is not it. This is a different episodic podcast. It's short-lived, obviously, because it's a TV show. So I go through the whole entire season as I did for season 1. Now here through season 2. And I just wanted to share that a little bit more about my channel and about me in that way to new viewers and to new subscribers. I gained a couple of subscribers. Not a handful, only a couple, actually two or three, I believe, by this recording of this episode here on Tuesday night after the show. But I just wanted to share a little bit more to them and to anybody else that may want to join in the conversation, join me on my journey of growing this channel. You know, as I always say, I want to grow the channel to be able to interact with many people, to talk about many things. Maybe that's the issue. I do podcasts and videos for many things. Maybe I should find a niche. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoy it. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, all that other fun stuff if you care to. And thanks for stopping by, even if you stop by for a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes, or the whole entire thing. It's always greatly appreciated by me. You take time out of your day to watch me do this. I usually do have a co-host, Jay, who is the host of Talking WWE with Jay here on YouTube, here on YouTube. Unfortunately, he is unable to make it here tonight, just like last week. Conflicting schedules with him and in the TV show. I guess since it moved to Tuesday, he had things already happening, I guess so to speak, on Tuesday evenings that made him unable to watch the show and be able to watch it and then give his synopsis on it. So he will be back next week, and also due to the change of MTV changing it from Monday to Tuesday, which I like. Don't have to stay up so late. As a fan, I like it. But here for my episodic podcast, I'm going to have to move the show so Jay is able to be part of it. I mean, I have a co-host, and he's my co-host for a reason. You know, we work well together. We're both obviously fans of the show since its inception last year, season 1. So starting next week, it will be on Wednesdays. Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central, 8 or 9 p.m. Central. We still have to iron that information out. I will tweet it out specifically when it will be. Welcome to follow me on Twitter at Army_strong_06. Again, that is at Army_strong_06. And sometime later this week or early next week, I will make sure to let everybody know specifically when these episodes will happen. Because since I've been doing this, gained a couple of subscribers last season, slowly already growing some more subscribers this season during doing my episodic reviews here of MTV Scream. So it seems like my fan base is, you know, the fan base that I do have right now, which I think is like between 40 and 60 subscribers, is really enjoying my MTV Scream reviews. Unfortunately, that also means that they're maybe not as keen or interested in my pro wrestling, WWE, or NFL stuff, which I will continue to do as they are the foundation of my channel. But thank you to those that enjoy my review here. Like I said, next week episode will be better because I will have my co-host. You won't just hear me babbling for 20, 30 minutes straight. But again, thanks to all that stopped by and all that are watching live and archived as well. Greatly appreciate it. But let's get into this episode again. Season 2, Episode 6, Jeepers Creepers, as I'm already 10, 11 minutes into this episode. Or into this episode of my podcast to finally talk about the episode of MTV Scream. Very interesting. I think it wasn't it wasn't a throwaway episode. No episode of the show was a throwaway episode. You have to build and build and build and build quicker and faster because it's a one season thing each time to find out the killer. Like season one, season two, season one. Excuse me. We only had 10 episodes, I believe. And this season, I don't remember. I should have. I was gonna look that up before I went on air. I think it might have 10, 12 or so episodes. Either way, it's short-lived, which sucks as a fan. You wish the seasons were longer. But in that respect, you have to, you know, progress storylines along faster. So last week's episode, this week's episode, they were not throwaway episodes. They're not filler episodes, at least in my humble opinion. If you disagree, let me know in the comments section below this video. But it was a setup things. It was a setup episode, kind of, as it did progress storylines, progress situations. It also was to set up things to a climax, to a bigger thing, I guess, so to speak. Hopefully, I'm explaining that right. But you know what I mean. I'm building up, building up. And these past 2 episodes, no one being killed. I mean, at the end of this episode, we see Mr. Branson being attacked by the killer, and I'm sure he'll be the next victim. But technically, he did not. He was not killed off. He did not pass away in this episode. So that's 2 straight episodes, no deaths, and with both of them being to build up to what probably will be the big episodes here, episode 7, episode 8. We get the mid-season finale, and that, I think, obviously, in general, it's building up to that, but specifically, these 2 episodes are building up to something in itself when we get to next week, because everything that we found out in this episode, specifically with Emma, the killer trying to play with Emma's mind, having the Lakewood now 5 kind of at each other's throats, because as the moniker is, and as it will be here for season 2, no one's safe, everybody's a suspect. And here in this episode, they really get into that. Emma's starting to doubt people, especially in the first scene in this episode with the interaction between Noah and Emma. Emma wanted to see Noah's murder board. He reluctant to do so, of course, because Audrey is his main suspect on his murder board. But she ain't having it. She sees it, and then they have a little squabble at that time. And then between Emma and others as well. I think because Emma's the main character. Emma's the one where the killer's trying to get into her head. As we see, for those that did see the entire season 2 super teaser, super trailer, whatever you want to call it, I think it's a super teaser after episode 1. And also, apologize to stop here, but check out Julie DG, Juli, capital D, capital G, here on YouTube. She did a great job in one of her videos on her channel, going over that entire super teaser, bit by bit, frame by frame, with her thoughts and feelings and where she thinks it's going to go. I wish I had the capability to do something like that. I would do that for each and every preview for each episode if I was able to. But check her out. She also does a review for the show. So this past week, she gave me a shout out. So here's a shout out back to her. Again, that is Juli, capital D, capital G, here on YouTube. Just search in the search bar. So it's a setup episode. And next week, with finding out Audrey spilling her dirty little secret, cat out of the bag sort of thing. I kind of thought that was what's going to happen. I had a feeling that Noah was there. He's about to start his podcast, kind of like here with me starting my live Google Hangout podcast here in real life, or with anybody with a podcast, audio or video podcast. You start broadcast, and sometimes you forget you're on, or somebody comes in. Now you can edit it at the end, but this was a live happening as it happened moment. And with the podcast, especially if you are broadcasting live and you started your broadcast, it's at that moment you can't take it back. I mean, you could later, especially if it's audio, you can edit things, but you get what I'm saying. The cat's gonna be out of the bag, and the chips are gonna fall where they may. opening Pandora's box in a way is what's going to be happening next week with Audrey's big secret being spilled, or her confiding in Noah, telling her she's the one, that brought the killer here from season one, because she wanted someone to help her out, because Audrey believes that Blair and James are misunderstood, and things like that. And we find out that Piper was Emma's sister, and all that dichotomy and that situation makes it even more interesting, especially in Audrey's case. Because from episode 1 here of season 2, it's been pointed that Audrey is going to be the one, and some people have her on top of their suspect board, whatever list, whatever they call it, for their reviews, podcasts, blogs that they talk about MTV Scream. Shout out to all of you guys and gals, men and women that do so. But to me, I always thought, and I've said already in past episodes, that I don't think she's the one. I think she's out to be the one, and the killer is going to be playing mind games to her and to others to make them think like Noah already. At least in the last episode, thinking that she was the one, that she is his main suspect, and she's trying to get everybody to be against her, which then turn the tables and give the advantage to the killer, whoever it is. Now, my top 5 usually doesn't change too much. Last week, I switched things up a little bit. I had the sheriff be put in, but this week is a little bit different. Give me a couple seconds as I pull this up here. If this thing can load any faster, please. See, this is what happens when you're live on air. Your technology can make you look like a fool. Anyways, I have it here, my top 5 as of right now after this episode. Number 1, Kieran. I think, at least for now, unless events change that pull me away, I'm going to go with Kieran. Then again, I went with him all the first season. In the end, was wrong, but whatever, I was wrong. Eli, still, other suspects, didn't see him, at least unless I missed it, didn't see too much of him in this episode. Emma's father, I still have a secret suspicion. He just rubs me the wrong way. That might not be the best reasoning. I'm sure people will say that's not the best reasoning, but it is my reasoning, I guess, to having him still on the list. Brooke, I'm getting a little bit more suspicious of. I mean, they definitely made it look like it could be Brooke with how she enticed the guy to come to her place and everything, and she being upset and wanting to get back at him, and you're thinking, from seeing the preview from after the last episode, episode 5, for this episode, episode 6, of the moment with the killer, the knife, Mr. Branson, and then leading up to the end scene of this episode with with Brooke calling Mr. Branson, inviting, and all this other stuff. You think, it really makes Brooke look very suspect. And to me, that places her here on my list. Audrey, still my top 5, but I also want to give a honorable mention, and I won't do this too often, but this episode I kind of wanted to, because I wanted to bring her up, and that's the teacher that's talking to Emma, the same situation with Piper, trying to be, or she was acting like a confidant. Maybe she could be the one. She could be the killer, and have known and knew Piper because it was an ex-girlfriend or current girlfriend of hers. Well, can't be current anymore because Piper got killed. But you know what I mean? Ex-girlfriend of Piper's, I guess. Or a friend, a good friend of hers, best friend, something like that. Some kind of connection between those two. And she could be the one. But at least for me right now, she's on my honorable mention. But the more and more as I've watched other people's reviews, audio and other ways, other formats, and giving their reasonings on why they think she would be it, the more I think, well, maybe that could be the case. Now, for myself, and forming my own opinion, of course, I don't think there's enough there quite yet for me personally to put her on my list. But from the events of this episode and the past episodes, it kind of correlating with how Emma and Piper's relationship was there when Piper was introduced in the show, when she came to Lakewood. When you think of the correlation and the pattern, is kind of going the same way. At least it seems that way to me. Then again, everybody's a suspect. No one's safe. And speaking of no one's safe, boy, oh boy, oh boy, I was getting worried during this episode, let alone being worried before the episode even started. Um, seeing the sneak peek of the episode with Noah and everything being captured and such, it made you think, oh, are they really going to do it? Is MTV really going to kill off Noah? I mean, no one's safe, so that would certainly prove that, if they're going to be killing off one of the top, one of the main stars, at least in popularity, not the main star in the show in general, excuse me, is Emma, that character. But if Noah was to be killed off, that would really show that really no one is safe. So that's why I was worried that would they actually go through with it? Are they really going to go through with it? I was going to say something else, but it wouldn't be really apropos. So that's what I was worried about. And as we get to the episode and he gets captured and him doing confessions or back and forth confessions with Audrey, their warehouse, like, oh crap, you hope. But then there's Emma to the rescue. Thank goodness, even though Emma was upset with Noah and his murder board of suspects and having Audrey's his number one. So everything's gonna be interesting. Like I said, these two episodes kind of building up to the next one, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm also looking forward to those that might join me when this show moves to Wednesdays. Again, Wednesdays 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Central Time. So whatever time it is there locally in your area, but 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Central Time is what I'm shooting for next week and the weeks to come to move it to Wednesdays. Like I said, I will tweet that out at my Twitter handle at army_strong_06. You're welcome to follow me there if you care to. And I also want to give a shout out to the AfterBuzz TV show, or AfterBuzz TV, and the after show of MTV Scream. To those beautiful, smart women on that panel. And I definitely will be checking their episode out after it goes live for AfterBuzz TV. So definitely everybody else is welcome to give them a shout out, let them know that I sent you there. If you do tweet them, welcome to @mention me with that if you care to. But thanks to all that watch live and those of you that watch the archive. Have a great rest of your week. I will be back here later this week to do my review on Monday Night Raw, 4th of July episode. And here soon, with the NFL season slowly getting closer and closer and closer, we're getting closer and closer for me to start up my NFL podcast, Talking Packers with Steve. So thank you for those that watched. And as always, take care.